Hey guys, today we're going to be doing a longer video. This video mainly is here to tackle your vector questions, alright? In this video we're just going to be looking at the IGCSE past year questions for vectors only. So let's begin. Find A, B in terms of A and B. Now, vectors, these lower cases, are actually your pathways for you to get from one point to another. For this question, they ask for find AB in terms of A and B. That means you want to get from point A to point B. Now, we know that you can actually use this direct pathing here from A to B. This is the most direct way, right? But in this scenario, you do not have a vector for this pathing. So instead of using this pathing, you have to use this pathing here with the known vectors, alright? So let's see, for you to get from A to B, for you to get from A to B, you actually have to use the pathing of A, A to B is actually using the pathing of A to C plus with the pathing of C to B. Alright, now over here, as you can see, A to C, it is going according to this direction, therefore it is going to be positive B. Okay, you can even write this down like this over here. Now, for you to get from C to B, which is here to here, can you see that you're actually going against the direction of this vector here? So to this vector, when you write it down, it is going to be negative A because it is going against the direction of this vector. Okay, so the final answer for you to get from A to B is B minus A. This is your vector's answer. Now, the second part in this question, it is usually involving some form of ratio or fraction between the pathing of wherever your points are. So let's look at this question. M is the midpoint of BC. M is the midpoint of BC, making it a ratio of 1 to 1 over here. X divides AB to a ratio of 1 to 4. So there is one part of AX and 4 parts of XB. Alright, find XM in terms of A and B. Show all your working and write your answer in the simplest form. Now, for you to get from X to M, this path, the most direct way, like I mentioned just now, you actually cannot take this pathing, right? But you can imagine taking this pathing here. Imagine taking this pathing here. For you to get from X to M, it will be from here, this pathing. Okay, let me write it here. This pathing to this pathing over here to get to M, right? Now, let's break this question down. For you to get to X to M is actually 4 out of 5 parts, because look, there's one part here and 4 parts here. 1 part, 4 part, add them together, it is out of 5 parts, am I correct? 4 out of 5 parts of A to B. And write down your direction. Then the next part will be B to M, right? For you to get for B to M, it is only 1 out of 2 parts, because this is broken into 1 part and 1 part. Am I right? 1 part and 1 part of B to C. Now, after writing this down in the simplest form, usually the second question would be related to your first question. Look, this is basically your answer for your first question over here, right? So let's write this down. 4 over 5 of AB that we've already found out just now was B minus A, right? Plus with half of B to C. Now, for you to get from B to C, for you to get from B to C, it is actually just half, it is A, right? So for you to get from B to M, it is half of B to C. So this answer should be A. For you to get from B to C is A, and positive because we're going according to the direction of A. So your final answer would be to break this down. 4 over 5. Bring it over here. 4 over 5 of B minus 4 over 5 of A. Add with 1 over 2 of A. Then you have to group up your like terms. This is a and a, right? Oops, sorry. You have to involve the symbol in front of your number here. So negative 4 over 5 plus half. Final answer is 4 over 5b. This is actually 0.8 plus 0.5. Negative 0.8 plus 0.5, you get negative 3 over 10. Negative 0.3. Alright? A. So this would be your final answer. Remember that you have to group up your like terms here. Okay? So that's the first question. Now, let's look at another question. PQRS is a trapezium with PQ equals to 2A. Oh, sorry, PQ equals to 2SR. PQ is equals to 2SR. So this is 2 times of this, right? We would now know that this SR is, oops, SR is actually just A, because it is 2 times, right? PQ equals to 2A. PS is equals to B. Find QR in terms of A and B in the simplest form. For you to get from Q to R, we know that the most direct pathing is here, but we don't have any vectors here, so we actually have to take the longer way with vectors. For you to get from Q to R will be QP. Remember to write down your directions so that you don't confuse yourself. Plus with PS, because we're taking this way, then plus with S to R. Okay, Q to P, you will be going against against 2A, so it will be negative 2A. P to S, you're going along with B. Then S to R. Now, this, to determine which direction SR is, you have to follow the vector that is parallel to it. These 2 lines are parallel to each other. So the direction of SR is going this way as well. SR is plus A. Okay? So your final answer, again, group up your like terms. Group these like terms up. Final answer would be negative A plus B. This is the answer for QR. Okay? Now, look over here. OX is equals to X. OY is equals to Y. Take note of the direction. M is the midpoint of X. Sorry, M is a point on XY such that XM to MY is 3 to 5. Now this one you can actually write it in this way on top of each other so that you can see more clearly. Okay, XM is 3 parts, XM, then MY is 5 parts, MY. Okay, find OM in terms of X and Y in its simplest form. For you to get from O to M, you can take this pathing, right? So let's break it down. O to M is actually OX. Now, this is just a part of XY, right? How many parts to be exact would be 3 out of 8, because 3 plus 5. XM is actually 3 out of 8. XY. Okay? Now, we break this down into a vector that we know. OX is actually just X, correct? X ma. Then, plus with 3 out of 8. X to Y. In order for you to get from X to Y, you can only take this pathing here, because this is the known vector pathing. Okay? So, X to Y will be X. Sorry, this should be negative, because you're going against the X vector here. Negative X plus Y. Now, break it down to the simplest form. X plus, sorry, when you expand this, is going to be negative. Negative 3 over 8x plus 3 over 8y. Now, your final answer would be x minus 3 over 8 would be 5 out of 8x plus 3 out of 8y. This is your final answer. Okay? Now let's look at another question. the diagram shows a quadrilateral OABC. OA equals to A vector, OC equals to C vector, CB is from C to B, this direction is 2A. This is 2A. Alright? X is a point on OB, such that OX is one part and XB is two parts. Now remember to write it down like this just to double check your answer. 1 to 2. So OX, XB, 1 to 2. Okay? Find in terms of A and C, its simple form from A to C. For you to get from A to C, this entire path is a vector pathing. Alright? So for you to get from A to C would actually equals to A to O. Remember, if A to O is different from O to A, because O to A would actually be positive A, then A to O would actually be negative A. Alright? Let's do that. AC is actually AO, because we're going this way, plus OC. Alright? So AO going against your vector A will be negative A. OC going according to vector C plus C. So that is your final answer, negative A plus C. Alright? How about A to X? For you to get from A to X, the pathing would be something like this. But for you to get from O to X, you don't have any vectors. But if you were to look at the larger picture, O to X would be a part of O to B. Am I right? Now let's see. For you to get from O to X, okay, let's write it down this way first instead. For you to get from A to X is actually A to O plus with O to X. Alright? A to O, we already know the vector is negative A. For you to get from O to X is actually 1 out of 3 parts of O to B. Am I right? 1 out of 3 parts of O to B. Okay? Now, you can further break down O to B, which would have been O, to get from O to B is actually this pathing here. O to B would be using this vector pathing here. Alright? So this OB would be C plus 2A. This is OB. Right? Continue rewriting your formula just now. Negative A plus with 1/3 of OB, which now we have expanded into a vector. Final answer, expand the brackets and group up your like terms. Negative A plus 1/3C plus 2A times 1/3 is 2/3A. Group up your like terms again. This is your like term. Okay, final answer, negative 1/3A plus 1/3C. Alright, this is the answer for your third question. Moving on, your fourth question. The diagram shows 2 points P and Q on a straight line of AB. PQ on AB. Okay, P is the midpoint of AB and Q. P is the midpoint of AB and Q is the midpoint of PB. Okay, so if we were to break this down, how many parts should we break it down into? Let's just say right now there is half of half. So if this was 1, if this whole stretch was equivalent to 1, then then this part would actually be 0.5 and P to B would be 0.5. Now Q is the midpoint of P to B, so this is actually 0.25 for P to Q, and Q to B would be another 0.25. Now if you were to look at this, this is actually 1 over 2, this is 1 over 4, 1 over 4. So instead of breaking them down into unknown weird fractions like this, I might as well straight away break it down into 4 parts. Okay, 4 parts, so this would actually have 2 parts, 1 part, 1 part. Alright, so now we've done with this part. O is the origin, OA is A, OB is B. Write down in terms of AB, its simplest form, A to P. Okay, for you to get from A to P is actually half of A to B. Right, now when you break down A to B, half of A to B, you're actually supposed to take this pathing here, this known vectors pathing. So it will be negative A because you're going against A here, and positive B. So therefore your final answer would be negative half, oops, let me write that, negative half A plus half B. Okay. Second part, position vector of Q. Now, position vector means to say from O to Q. Okay, position vector is O to Q. This term you need to remember, guys. For you to get from O to Q is actually taking this pathing here, right? But over here we know that you don't have any vectors, but no problem. For you to get from O to Q is actually OA plus AQ. Am I right? Now we can further break this down. OA is actually positive A. Plus with A to Q is a breakdown of A to P. Oops, sorry. A to P plus with P to Q. Okay. Now for us to further break this into a vector, A plus AP, we've already gotten the answer here just now, is negative half A plus half B. This is AP, right? Okay, then for you to get from P to Q would be another 1 over 4 of A to B. Now your final answer, we can actually further break this down. A to B, which we already gotten here, is negative A plus B. Or let me use red color instead. Negative A plus B, because we got it from here, right? This is AB. Now write down everything. A minus half A plus half B plus 1 over 4 of negative A plus B. Continue your working here. Now group up all your like terms, or okay, at least expand them first. Half A plus half B minus 1 over 4A plus 1 over 4B. Group up all of your like terms. A, then you have your B's. A minus half A, 0.5A, minus another 0.25, 1 over 4A, 0.5B plus 0.25B, 3 over 4B, oops, plus 3 over 4B. Okay, now this will be your final answer, 1 over 4A plus 3 over 4B, for you to get from position vector of OQ. Alright. Final question. OAC is a parallelogram. OA is equals to A. OB is equals to B. AN to NB is 2 over 3. Oops, again. AN to NB is 2 to 3. Alright. AN to NB is 2 to 3. AY is 2 over 5 of AC. Now, if you see 2 over 5 kind of break down like this, we know that you have a total of 5 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. AY is 2 parts of 5 parts. So the remaining YC would be 3 parts here. How do you get this? Is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Write each of the following in terms of A and B. Give your answers in its simplest form from O to N. O to N, we have to take this pathing here. Break it down, it will be OA direction plus AN direction. Alright? AN, we have to further break it down to 2 of 5 parts of A to B, because this is the pathing we're going to take, right? Okay, so OA is actually positive A plus this 2 over 5 of A to B. Now, break it down, A plus 2 over 5 of A to B would be, look at this vector again, you can only take this pathing, so it will be negative A bracket plus B. Then your final answer, group up the like terms. A plus negative 2 over 5A, this will be 3 over 5A plus 2 over 5 B. Final answer. Okay? For you to get from N to Y, let's erase off these things for the moment. So to get from N to Y, N to Y, you have to take this pathing here, right? So let's break it down. NY is NA plus with AY. Okay? We know that you don't have any real vectors for NA, so we have to break it down. NA is actually 2 over 5 of, now for you're actually trying to go this direction, therefore it will be B to A. It's different from A to B over here because just now you were traveling this way, just now you were traveling this direction, now you are traveling this direction. Okay, this direction, just now you were traveling this direction. Okay, so continue on from here. A to Y, A to Y is again 2 out of 5 of A to C. Okay, now let's break this down. 2 over 5 of B to A. B to A would be negative B plus A. By going this way, the real vectors way. Okay, so 2 over 5 of that plus with 2 over 5 of A to C. For you to get from A to C, now this part revolves around a parallelogram. Parallelogram means that this and this have the same vectors. And this have the same vectors. Alright? So for you to get from A to C is actually a pathing of this way. Right? A to C, so 2 over 5 of B. Alright? Now open up your brackets. Negative 2 over 5B plus 2 over 5A plus 2 over 5B. So your final answer should be just cancelling off the B's, 2 over 5A. 2 over 5A. Now, let me explain a little on this part. If it is 2 over 5A, erasing off all of this working here, 2 over 5A, like I mentioned just now, vectors, if you have parallel to them, it would be equivalent, right? If this is A, then this will be A. If this is B, then this will be B, because we are involving in a parallelogram. Okay, so for your final answer of N to Y to be 2 over 5A, that would mean that for you to get from N to Y is 2 over 5A, this is parallel to this part of A as well. That is why the answer is just 2/5A. Alright, hope that all the questions over here will have helped you guys a little. If you guys have anything, you guys can feel free to drop me a comment or message me. Okay then, that is all. Thanks.